The little One Piece nerd inside of me was delighted when I found this sailing role-playing adventure game among a Humble Bundle, and I was quite excited to be able to give it a go. The game in question is Sailing Era, released on the 11th of January 2023, developed by GY Games and published by Bilibili. The game allows you to form a crew, buy a ship, and set sail on the seas, discovering countries, statues, and artifacts, meeting new people, and sorting fact from fiction in the world. On the surface, it sounds like every adventurer's dream, but let's see if it's smooth sailing or infested waters on the horizon. The game starts by showing you a map with 4 characters to choose from. Each character has their own storyline and comes from a different part of the world. As well as this, the characters have their own traits and benefits to using them. An example of this is Abdullah, who has increased XP from battles and the ability to recruit crews from surrendered ships. For our playthrough though, we're going to play as Andrew. The game has no narration or voice acting, so it is a lot of reading. The gist of the beginning of the story is that your character wants to set off and be the captain on a ship, but no one's got a job going. In comes a scholar who wants to explore and make a nautical map of the whole world. You know, instant Nami vibes. She agrees to let you captain her boat so she can do the maps, but explains she isn't interested in trading or staying in the same place for too long. You then recruit your buddy, who works in the library, to help with understanding discoveries and cultural differences in the various ports. Your friend is also looking to uncover if the legends he has been reading about in books are true, so after a little bit of convincing, he's happy to come aboard. After a lot of text dump tutorials, you put your crew members in their respective slots on the boat and then set off. At this point, I've made a mistake and misread the map, so I accidentally travelled to Madeira instead of Ceuta, so I did waste some resources and time. Eventually, I ended up in the right place, and then the storyline continued, along with some more tutorials. There are a few main activities in the game that take part in different areas, such as when you're exploring the sea, you can then make discoveries of famous landmarks, capture proof, and then submit this to a port of your choosing in exchange for reputation and money. Across the sea, there will also be pirate ships where you can fight in exchange for the loot and supplies. If you have accepted a bounty for said pirate ship, you can also hand in their flag at the port in exchange for the previous mentioned rewards. Exploring also comes with its own survival mechanic, in which you have a limited amount of supplies which will be used by your crew while you're on the sea. The more crew you have, the more you'll use. If you run out of supplies before reaching a port, your crew members will lose morale and then start to die, so it's important to keep an eye on resources and stock up whenever possible. Usually, when you're not at sea, you're in a port. While in a port, you can check in with traders, taverns, and guilds, as well as do land expeditions if you've got them unlocked. Trading is easy enough. Buy something low at one port and then sell high in another. Use information from merchants about sale trends at different ports to make informed decisions on what and when to buy/sell. You can also take part in trade commissions, which involve travelling to a port and picking up a certain amount of an item, then bringing it back to the trade guild you received the commission from in exchange for gold and reputation. Each port will have a tavern. Here you can buy a round for your crew to boost morale and heal them up. Talk to travelling merchants to find out trading trends at other ports, and flirt with the barmaids in exchange for information and tips. You can also level up your main crew members in here, which will unlock skill points which you can allocate. For 100 reputation, you can unlock outdoor expeditions at each respective port. These expeditions feature a hexagon grid in which you can traverse each hexagon in exchange for a certain amount of supplies. You can bring supplies to the expedition with them and gather more during it with the tools that you've brought. There are some expedition contracts which you can complete for money and reputation, and some expeditions also have discoveries like you'd find on the sea. Depending on the size of the port you are visiting, they may have the facilities for you to repair, buy, and sell ships. Each port will have a palace or main government building which you can go to, and you can spend your reputation and your coins to unlock the things previously mentioned, such as outdoor expeditions, being able to trade certain items, and more. The gameplay loop involves travelling to new ports, accepting bounties and trade commissions as you feel comfortable to do so, and then fulfilling these. Exploring land expeditions for ports you have unlocked this for, and finding discoveries to show ports in exchange for reputation. You can also use taverns to recruit crew and members to fulfill specific roles on a ship, and have members captain other ships to increase the size of your fleet, all the while completing the story quests as and when you come across their location. Overall, this is quite a solid gameplay loop. There are a decent amount of options for you to explore without it feeling overwhelming. While I am not a fan of text dump tutorials, the game does come with a hefty help section with tons of information, so you can really understand how the game works. I enjoyed stumbling across a new port and getting to see what they had to offer, learning which ports bought which items and making trades on our way through to supplement income to keep up a larger crew. All in all, I played Sailing Era for 3.3 hours, which I felt was enough time to collect my thoughts and feel informed about the game to make this video. During this time, I came up with the following observations. The game is fine, and that's really it. It wasn't necessarily good or bad. I wasn't waiting to close the game, but I also didn't have any drive to continue playing it either. The battles are simple, the trades are simple, it's all very simple and surface level, which is great if you just want to chill out and do some mind-numbing activities, but if you want it to be a bit more involved, you're not going to find that here. The game is a ton of reading. None of the game is voice acted, so there's no break in reading whatsoever, and due to the text dump tutorials, it is just words on words on words. The characters have very limited movement and expressions with their 2D models, and a lot of the character designs are reused throughout the game. The ports aren't that dissimilar to each other. You go in, click through the dialogues, do the expedition if you have them unlocked, or you have any available, and then you leave. And that's it. As it currently stands, I can't see a way to control how many supplies I have on me and therefore how long I can be at sea before I need to find a port. Considering this game is entirely about being able to sail the seas and find all of the world's discoveries and stuff like that, it feels kind of linear. Like, yes, you can go to the other ports before it tells you to go there. But going in the wrong order sometimes means it doesn't unlock the chat options that it intends to unlock. And then you have to end up going back there to talk to the person that it now wants you to talk to that you could have talked to when you were there before, but then you couldn't because why? The whole game is basically trade and do bounties and trade quests to get money, use money for supplies and making new ships. Use the XP from bounties and trade quests and expeditions to level your characters. It takes 15 levels to get a skill point in a character. Maybe this gets quicker as time goes on, but in the beginning, it feels like it takes forever. The visuals are beautiful, and I enjoyed the soothing music, and overall it felt like a nice, calm game to play and chill out when I just wanted to look at the pretty views and not think too much more about it. Recently, the game has gone from mostly positive to very positive in its recent reviews on Steam, which is amazing. But the reason why I've still decided to put out this video and include my changes that I think will make it better is because I still think that they could really solidify that position as very positive if they went ahead with the changes that I've put in here, as currently they've not been implemented or updated. So these are the things that I would give to make it from all reviews mostly positive to all reviews very. Give more of the NPCs names and flavour, ways of speaking, and make them look a little bit different from each other so that it all feels a little bit more personal and unique. Give me the ability to gain reputation with merchants as well as barmaids, maybe for better prices or access to an exclusive item from each port which then goes in part of your collection log. The fighting with other ships is quite clunky and difficult to initiate hand-to-hand combat. Make it so when you get close to the ship, you press a button, like maybe F or space, to initiate the combat instead. Ditch the rock, paper, scissors part of hand-to-hand combat for something you can measure and get right. It felt like no matter what I picked, it was just wrong. Allow for more in-crew conversations. Let me feel the crew bond as they're travelling together for longer. Add some voice acting or narration for the main storyline to give players a break from the reading and just take in the atmosphere. And make auto-sailing maps slightly cheaper, as 10,000 per map is quite a lot given how much it costs per trip for the camping items and stuff like that. And especially in the beginning, it can be difficult to figure out where to go and how to complete your bounties and your trade commissions. I do believe that if GY Games were to take these suggestions on board, it would make the new player experience much more enticing and really keep people gripped in and secure that spot in the very positive position on Steam reviews. Let me know what you guys thought about the gameplay, my thoughts, and the suggestions. If you have any other suggestions, or you think that maybe I got some wrong, let me know below, and let me know if you've played the game and what you thought of it. I hope you all had a brilliant time watching this, and we will be back for the next one soon.